Welcome back to Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and this is my review of Carnage #1. Yeah. I have a confession to make. I have never read a Carnage comic book before. So, in fact, I don't really know all that much about Carnage in general. I know that Cletus Cassidy is the host for the Carnage symbiote, but I don't really know that much more about the character. As a matter of fact, I've not even seen the Venom sequel with Let There Be Carnage. So I'm kind of walking into this with a blank page and no expectations. But again, I love brand new book series. So this is a new ongoing series, as I understand it, for Carnage. And even though I've not read any Carnage books myself previously, I am a big Spider-Man fan. And I'm going to start doing Spider-Man reviews. I'm actually going to do one for the new 92.BEY or 92 and I'm doing that as kind of my first Spider-Man review, because I'm going to just start actually with the new Spider-Man #1, start doing commentary on those books. But when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is another opportunity to kind of like dive more into the Spider-Man universe of characters. So I picked this up, and let me tell you what, it's a really good book. It really is. So I'm not the kind of person that typically likes, horror comics or, villain-based comic books. One of the things that actually got me interested in picking this book up was reading a Spider-Man annual, actually, from the past few years. This is Amazing Spider-Man annual #1 from the current volume, which is soon to end. But this story here by Ahmed is about the symbiote taking Peter Parker's body and then running around doing things that he thinks Peter Parker would want to do. And this is actually one of my favorite books. This is actually it's actually one of my favorite just straight up annual or comic books in general, single issues, because the writing is so inventive and the story is actually really engrossing. And it gives you a different kind of perspective about symbiotes that you might not have seen or thought about previously. But basically, the suit taking sleepwalking Peter Parker around New York doing Spider-Man stuff, but with a kind of demented twist, is actually extremely entertaining. And that was one of the reasons why, when I heard about this particular storyline, I was like, this looks like a great idea. This sounds like a great idea for a book. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. And this particular issue is $5. So I don't know if this is going to be the main price for this, because I think they actually do have a couple backup stories to this, sort of backup stories, and they're really good. But this book really kind of explores the symbiote and how it decides that's going to go about, trying to be itself, as it were. It might actually look for a new host, but they don't really get into it specifically. But I really like just the idea of the possibilities that they could be going with this particular story. So it's Carnage #1. It is definitely very dark, I would put it that way. It kind of starts off with a bit of a CSI kind of situation, and it's one of the more grotesque Marvel books that I've seen. And now I admit that I have a limited sample size compared to many of you out there, but this is got a bit of a 7 kind of feel to it. So if you're squeamish about stuff like that, this might not be your jam. But from the way that the story kind of leads off to the way that it progresses forward, I think it actually has a really great, compelling story. I really like it. So it kind of has 2 different stories that are kind of parallel to each other in their structure, because they got the main story and then they got like this backup story. They're similar, but they're different. It's kind of hard to say. I would recommend that you read the book. It's a great book in this time when people can be very, very picky about what they're reading and what they're seeing, and they're concerned about messaging. This just looks like a straight Carnage book without any kind of agenda. So I really appreciate that, and it's a solid book. And like I said, if you want books that aren't going to preach at you and actually just give you what you want, then you should back those books, even if you have issues with, the direction of Marvel or whatever idiocy they get involved with on social media. Just buy the book and support the book that you like. And if it does what you want it to do, continue to support it, because that's the only way that you're going to really get what you're looking for going forward. So that being said, there actually is one technical issue in this book that I was actually kind of surprised about. There might be 2, but one for sure. So, and that's a missing space here. So this may not be that big of a deal to you, but I can't sit here and critique independent crowdfunded books and totally murder them on their editing and their typos if I don't at the same time point it out in a professional book. So this is a professional book. There is no excuse for this. So I'm not sure how this got slipped past the editing process or the lettering process, but there you have it. And then there's one other suggestion here that may or may not actually be a problem. It really depends on what you're trying to say there. But that being said, enough rambling about this book. It's Carnage. It's the symbiote going off on it and doing his own thing, living his best symbiote life, and kind of walking away from the typical I'm going to be a horrendous monster storyline that's typically had. So this could go some really creative places. So I definitely recommend that you take a look at it. And if you like it, put it on your poll. But the book is by Ram V with Francesco Manna on the art. And it's a great book, really. So if you like Spider-Man stuff, if you like Venom and Carnage, and you want to see what they might be doing with, the Carnage symbiote without Cletus Cassidy, that actually sounds like a really promising premise. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It's a little too dark for me personally, but it's a book about Carnage, so you get what you pay for there. So I do have it on my poll, and I will be reviewing it going forward, and we'll see where it goes. Again, thanks for watching Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and I'll catch you next time.